Hi again, everyone. In this video, we revisit one of Martin Scorsese's gangster universes by taking a look at the film The Departed, a genius complexity of undercover operations set and beautifully shot in the city of Boston. I'm not even going to try to compose a top list of Scorsese's films, but this one definitely scores high. A superb cast, slick dialogue. It's not a surprise it won 4 Oscars. Without further ado, here are 25 facts you maybe didn't know about The Departed. At a film press conference in 2006, Leonardo DiCaprio said that his one-on-one scene with Jack Nicholson was one of the most memorable moments of his life. He was especially referring to, in my opinion, one of the best scenes, which is the "I smell a rat" scene. Nicholson had told Scorsese that he wanted to do the scene differently than the previous takes. Apparently, before the new take for the scene, a prop guy had told DiCaprio, well, be careful, he's got a fire extinguisher, a gun, some matches, and a bottle of whiskey.
Got something you wanna ask me?
Several sources claims that Martin Scorsese really wanted Al Pacino for the role of Costello because he had never worked with him before. But obviously, if you've seen the film, there's no Al Pacino in it. Jack Nicholson ended up becoming Scorsese's perfect second choice. I'm sorry, second choice is not a phrase that should be used in the same sentence as Jack Nicholson. Anyways, it is rumored that Jack also turned down the role at first, but after a meeting with Martin Scorsese, William Monahan, and Leonardo DiCaprio, he was finally convinced to play the role of Frank Costello. Note that Al Pacino would later go on to appear in Scorsese's The Irishman. The Departed was actually a remake of the 2002 Hong Kong film Infernal Affairs, directed by Andrew Lau and Alan Mak. However, Martin Scorsese himself said in an interview with The Times of India that he didn't think of it as a remake at all. He argued that Hong Kong cinema is something you can't duplicate. To follow up on this, The Departed was also the first remake of a foreign film to win an Academy Award for Best Picture. The second one is Coda, released in 2021, a remake of the French-Belgian film La Famille Bélier. If you haven't watched that one, make sure to check it out. A great picture. When Jack Nicholson's character Frank Costello walks off with the Angel Kids, the yacht in the background is the same yacht that Jordan Belfort owns. That is, Leonardo DiCaprio's character in The Wolf of Wall Street.
I'm gonna have Heidi lick some caviar off of my balls in the meantime.
Alright, this might be more of a speculation than a fact, but a possible reason why Leonardo DiCaprio did not receive an Oscar nomination for his performance in this movie was because Warner Brothers initially did not want to favor DiCaprio over his co-stars and placed him in the leading actor category. The studio favored DiCaprio's leading performance in Blood Diamond, which eventually got him a nomination. DiCaprio did not campaign against his male co-stars in the supporting actor category, so Warner Brothers bought no supporting actor ads for DiCaprio, and he did not receive a nomination. The Departed marks the third time that Martin Scorsese has used the Rolling Stones' Gimme Shelter in one of his films. It also appeared in Goodfellas from 1990 and Casino from 1995, but let's be honest, can't blame him. It really is a banger. Screenwriter William Monahan wanted to make a sequel to the movie, saying it would have explored things the first film missed, like political corruption. He pictured the sequel happening before, during, and after the events of the first one. Monahan had watched the sequels to the original film on which The Departed was based, but felt that a potential sequel would have gone in a different direction set by this film. Mark Wahlberg also indicated that Damon wouldn't been the main character in the potential new film. However, to date, plans for the sequel haven't materialized. Many scenes with Jack Nicholson were improvised. Nicholson was given the opportunity to do whatever he wanted to add to the character's unpredictability. The scene where Billy, that is DiCaprio's character, and Frank are talking about a rat being in the gang was loosely scripted, and many surprises happened in it, maybe the most notable one being Frank pulling out the gun on Billy. To elaborate on the former, at around 1 hour and 14 minutes, the scene where Frank Costello throws cocaine on hookers was one of many bizarre ideas contributed by Jack Nicholson. He was also the one who suggested wearing a strap-on for the scene with Matt Damon in the porn theater. In the movie, Scorsese put X's in the background to mark characters for death. Examples are when Costigan's at the airport with Sergeant Dignam, or Queenan takes a fall, and even when Sullivan's in his office chatting with Costello, with the light making an X through the window. This is actually a nod to the 1932 Scarface. Yes, that was the basis for Brian De Palma's 80s Scarface, though that one is much different. The point is, Scorsese is giving props to Hawk's Scarface, an old-school crime movie, by using these X's. Additionally, the view out the window with the infamous rat is also an homage to Scarface. If you haven't already noticed, Jack Nicholson is a recurring fact item for this video. Another remark about him in the film is that he refused to wear a Boston Red Sox hat during filming, although it all took place in Boston, and instead wore his New York Yankees hat. Of course, as Mark Wahlberg said when asked about it, Jack can do what he wants.
I'd appreciate if he would dress me as Colonel or Sir. I believe I've earned it.
Neither of the leaders on either side, that is Queenan from the state police force and Frank Costello from the mob syndicate, discovers the identity of the infiltrators in their own side. Brad Pitt bought the rights to the movie and worked as a producer for it. Additionally, he was actually supposed to take the role of Colin Sullivan, but decided that this should go to a younger actor instead. However, he continued to produce the film under his and his then-wife Jennifer Aniston's production company Plan B. Instead of acting in Departed, Brad Pitt ended up playing in the film Babel. Following Brad Pitt's exit from the role as Sullivan, they needed another actor. Since the movie was already set in Boston, Scorsese's friend, director Kenneth Lonergan, recommended Matt Damon. You may have heard this, but Damon is from Boston. Nowadays, it's common to see a Martin Scorsese film featuring Leonardo DiCaprio, the latest one being Killers of the Flower Moon. A great film, in my opinion. However, back then, this collaboration was in its early stages. We were glad to learn that the duo was happy to team up once more following their partnership in Gangs of New York 4 years earlier. The movie is set in Boston, which might have gone against Scorsese's New York roots, but it also helped shape the film. It is widely considered that Boston's Winter Hill Gang is an inspiration for much of the movie. That is especially Frank Costello, which is based on the infamous gangster Whitey Bulger, who spent much of his life in Boston. Mark Wahlberg delivers a great performance as Sean Dignam in The Departed. Being a Boston native, he seamlessly fits the role. However, talent runs in the family as Mark's brother Robert also joins the cast, portraying FBI Special Agent Frank Lazio. Scorsese's movie got a lot of credit for depicting a Boston that felt like Boston. To many, the characters felt like true Bostonians, and this is not just me rambling. The Boston Globe said the same thing. The movie had an advantage on that front. In fact, Monahan had grown up in Boston himself. Raging Bull didn't do it. Goodfellas didn't do it. Gangs of New York didn't do it. Even textbook Oscar bait The Aviator didn't do it. Then, The Departed finally did it. Scorsese got his first and so far only win for Best Director. Will he get his next one in the upcoming Academy Awards? It's a tough competition. Anyways, the movie took home 4 of the 5 Academy Awards it was up for. It won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Film Editing. Mark Wahlberg's nomination for Best Supporting Actor was the only one who didn't go through. That prize was snatched by Alan Arkin as Edwin Hoover in Little Miss Sunshine. During the airport scene with Leonardo DiCaprio, the little girl wearing the pink backpack is none other than Martin Scorsese's daughter, Francesca. Gotta give Scorsese some respect here for including his 7-year-old daughter in such a badass film. Apparently, Martin Scorsese put the finishing touches on this film a week before its theatrical release, which really isn't usual. Not Christian Bale levels, but still, Leonardo DiCaprio gained 15 pounds of muscle for his role as Billy Costigan. It is said that Matt Damon decided his character Colin Sullivan should be impotent to counter Costello's macho personality. According to several sources, The Departed is Scorsese's 3rd most commercially successful film, behind Shutter Island on 2nd place and, of course, The Wolf of Wall Street on 1st. There you have it, 25 facts you now know about The Departed. I hope you enjoyed it, and make sure to leave a comment if there are other facts we missed in this video. As usual, I round up with a random film recommendation. I'm personally a great fan of Paolo Sorrentino, and one of my favorites of his is Youth, a beautifully shot film set in the Swiss Alps. Go check it out. Well, that's it for now. Talk to you in the next one.